So Naiyah, we were talking about how you're juggling school
Hmm.
and your responsibilities as a parent. And while
Yes.
I was listening to you, I wanted to record this because I actually found you inspirational and
Thank,
encouraging. And I want to thank you as your instructor
thank
for
you.
sharing with me what you've been going through. And that makes your dedication to class so much more profound to me. Let me just tell you that.
Thank
Um,
you.
so tell everybody the challenge you are facing as a student.
Well, right now, currently, my daughter was diagnosed with autism back in August of 2023. And I kind of had a suspicion that she had autism just because of how she responded when it came to verbalizing what she wanted and didn't want. So once I received her diagnosis, I started learning about a lot of different therapies and grant services and things of that nature. And I didn't really know where to start as far as occupational therapy, ABA therapy, and speech therapy, in which she would be worked with full time, potty training, writing, and stuff like that. But it was a process. I heard about it over the summer of last year. And then as time came close for her to start school and enroll in school, is when I got really privy to different, grants and services that I could use through my behavioral specialist. So during this time when I first started my certification in September, I reached out to the school because I really wanted her to go to the day school. And I saw that they specialized in children that were from pre-K to kindergarten, and they kind of just helped them with day-to-day activities, showing them how to complete tasks and things like that. And I want my daughter, or all of my children, but specifically my daughter with autism, to be able to function and navigate through life just as easy as the next person. Um, Certain things kind of are difficult when it comes to communication, but another reason why I chose to get her tested and figure out what her diagnosis was so that I can work with her early on. And that way, when she grows up and she's older, things aren't as difficult for her. And although she has that barrier, it doesn't mean that she is incompetent or she can't, understand. I just have to work with her a little bit more, be more patient. And I found little communities online about parents who have autistic children who documented their growth from childbirth on the way up to graduating high school. And I mean, it's a whole community of children out there who basically can function and understand and work and go to school and graduate around, children that are not in the same category as them, and then you have children who, go to school with children that are in the same category of them. But throughout my journey, I have found out about this company called Serve Spectrum, and they recently funded a grant for my daughter's tuition for a month just a couple of weeks ago.
Shout out to
For
Serve Spectrum. We appreciate you. Thank you
sure,
so much.
sure.
How have you managed to care for her and study for class?
So whenever I'm having just like study time or whatever, I kind of try to work on or study based upon the days that she is in daycare, which is like Monday morning and Wednesdays. However, when she's at home and we haven't started completely her ABA therapy, which we will be starting in the next, 2 weeks once her second scholarship comes through, which is through a different company, but it's called CAPES ABA therapy.
Thank you,
And
Kate.
once, yes, yes, shout out to Capes and Kale. Um, Once that scholarship is set and ready for her, she'll be able to do school from Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 3 p.m. So, when I'm at home though, and I'm trying to study, I try to incorporate some of her learning techniques from school, which they try to make the children as independent as the rest of the kids, like, or as their counterparts who don't have autism. I mean, they let them do arts and crafts, use scissors to cut up different artwork, for Christmas time, they had a Christmas party and the children all sat around at the table. And it doesn't matter the, religion. I'm not a very religious person. However, they had the kids do a prayer. They made little stickers for the barn and then, let them cut up different stuff. And some people have this misconception that autistic children can't function like regular kids. And although autism can be high functioning depending on where you started helping them out at and what age and whatever to help navigate them. From my experience, getting a diagnosis and navigating through that ahead of time is even better because my daughter, I've been able to pay attention to what her triggers are, and also figuring out different ways to get her to relax while I'm studying. So she's got a plethora of things from building blocks to coloring books to books that make sounds, animal sounds and stuff like that. And it can be difficult from time to time, but it just has motivated me even more. One of my biggest fears that I had with or for my daughter was that she wouldn't be where she needed to be when she was 18, and I'm not going to always be here. So I kind of found myself going through a little panic before I put her in day school in fall. And I talked to her older siblings about it and just asking them to be there for her when
Well, we pray
So,
that no time soon because
yeah,
you have a bright future. So it
thank
sounds like she's been more motivational to you than anything
you.
else.
Yes,
She's been your
for sure.
motivation.
For
You
sure.
know, what would you
Yeah.
say to other people who want to learn medical billing and coding and they have challenges like your own, or maybe their challenges totally different?
Yeah.
What would you say to encourage them? Because some people feel like giving up. And since you've been in class, I think you only missed one time, and that was because you had a school function
Yeah.
for your daughter. So, what would you say to other people who have challenges, but they're letting it get the best of them? What would you say to those people?
I would say that life is full of challenges. That's number one. I know it sounds cliche, but if you quit and you just stop doing what you're doing, then you've already failed. And one thing I've learned in my long little, 21 plus years of living, LOL, older than that. But quitting isn't the option. And I feel like when you are constantly starting and stopping things and you have younger children or siblings, cousins, or whatever watching you, they imitate what you do, not what you say. And that's always stood out to me. A lot of people don't know that I have been trying to look for a new home. And in between this time of going to school and also getting my daughter's diagnosis, we haven't even had a set home in between September until now. And a lot of those things were weighing heavy on me, but I never really allowed it to affect me because it doesn't make a difference whether you dwell in not having. You find your strength in abundance and continuing to keep going forward. And I just would encourage everyone to just keep going. Don't stop. I don't care what's going on. I could have been sitting outside on a park bench all day and literally writing my notes, but I knew I had a plan. I knew I had a goal and I was going to achieve it regardless of what was going on around me. And I
Can you
had to
show?
exhibit the strength for my kids as well.
Very good. And can you show us, if you have it, a page from your notebook,
Mhm.
how you take notes and draw pictures
Of
to
course.
help you because you have a lot on your plate. So you're
Yeah.
always trying to remember things. Can we see?
One thing that I got, the first book I got, which is a notebook from Barnes and Noble. This was some months ago, and it stood out to me because we were learning about the respiratory system and the cardiovascular, and I even got little pictures of my digestive system in here,
Very
and
good.
and the large intestines.
Very good.
Just to kind of I'm a visual person, so I always want to write my notes like that. And then, I got I love to write. I'm a writing type of girl. I know everybody else isn't really like that. They prefer to type and things like that. But whenever I just want to keep on repeating to myself what I'm seeing on my PDFs and everything else, then I definitely will rewrite it and write it and write it until I
I
remember.
even saw HIV. That's our chapter 1 guidelines that we covered
Yeah,
just now.
correct.
Very nice. Very nice, Naya.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
do you feel bright about your career going forward?
I
Um,
definitely do. I hate to cut you off, but it's an
mhm,
exciting challenge for myself because it isn't one that I originally thought about doing. And
mhm.
again, I've shared that with you that when I first came into the group, my goal was to do Microsoft SharePoint. However, I could only choose between a certain amount of programs within my city, and this one stood out to me the most because I'm familiar with computer work. So, um,
And you know what? We would be wrong
yeah,
not to shout out NC Works to thank
yeah,
them for
right.
allowing you to be in the program. We
Yes, and
we
I'm
definitely
very
want to thank you and Mark Greer. Yeah, thank you
yes,
very much. Yeah.
yes. So um I lost my train of thought, but
Oh,
yes.
sorry.
So yeah, so this is it's a challenge. I love a challenge. Everybody else might not like a challenge. That's what I was saying. I really do like a challenge. So it's interesting to me. I want to be able to incorporate this information with my everyday life, no matter where I decide to relocate from. Or say, for instance, I just want to start a practice one day and hire some young girls to code, or if I want to code on my own just to get a feel of what is what, so that I know how to navigate through that system, then it's a plethora of things that I could do besides just coding. And I'm realizing that as I learn more information, even sitting here with you today.
Yes.
So
And what was it you started your degree in college? What was that again?
when I
Um,
first started off, I was doing networking technology and information technology.
so you
And so,
see how I just want to tell you your coding blends in with that. So you may
exactly,
be able to use that knowledge you already gained with this particular certification, you
for
know?
sure. Yeah, for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, I
Well, I'm
really
very
am
proud of
enjoying of learning different things, and I really appreciate that.
you.
I
And I
really do.
thank you for doing this for me. I've never done this before, but while I was listening to you, I thought, oh my goodness, this is really encouraging and
Yeah,
inspirational because we meet a lot of people who tell me they can't finish class or they never finished or they failed the national exam, they're discouraged. And sometimes we need to look outside of ourselves. You know, we're not the only people that have challenges. So when I
right.
see someone with a challenge but pushing through regardless, like we want to celebrate that. So I celebrate
Mhm.
you
Thank
for
you.
being so strong. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to send this video to the person that I told you about.
Yes,
Uh, I'm going to include this video
that's
in an
perfect.
email to her,
Yeah.
and I'm going to post the video.
Okay.
And if anyone out there has information that you think would help Naya in regards to her goals with her daughter, if you know of programs that help with autistic students, if you
Right.
are behavioral health or
Right.
occupational therapy, any of those programs, and you need volunteers, she is willing to volunteer to get experience for coding. And
Hmm.
yeah, I'm doing this because I'm proud of this student and
Thank
I
you.
really want to see her go far. And thank you again for doing
Thank
this
you
video.
for teaching me. I wouldn't be this far if it wasn't for you. And I always tell you, I commend your teaching as well as I'm thankful for God for giving me the strength to keep going, and my family as well, because they've been a very big support.
Well, don't
So,
make me cry today, but what I
oh,
will tell you is um, I judge my teaching ability on the outcome of the student. So
sure.
when you reach your goal and you call and let me know
I got
that
you.
you've reached your goal, that's when I celebrate that I'm a good teacher. But until I get the desired results,
I
I
got
don't
you.
feel like a good teacher. That's not a good way to teach, by the way, for you teachers out there, because when your students, if they don't succeed, you kind of take it on yourself. But in this case, it's really necessary for me to see you do well. So
And I got you
I
100%.
really appreciate it. Thank you. You got me. I got you too.
Thank you so much, Miss
All
Geanetta.
right. Well, we're going to end here and thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.